Hi and welcome to my YouTube channel Microsoft Power Tools, where you learn everything about analytics, automation and productivity. In this video, we're going to discuss group forms. All you need to know about Microsoft group forms, how do you create one, and what are the different ways you can create one, how do you manage forms upload, attachment file upload in group forms, how do you even connect your group form to Power Automate, and lastly, how do you make use of it within Microsoft Teams. So please stay tuned as you're going to learn a lot about Microsoft group forms. Right now I'm on Office Portal. I'm logged in with an advanced account and I have to come here to see all apps. In case you can scroll here for forms. When you click on this button, you see all apps, and I'm going to open forms in a new tab. Right, so let me navigate there. Right here I have my forms. Everywhere is blank for me for advanced, and one thing you will notice is this experience is familiar. You've been creating your personal form all this while from here. The disadvantage of personal form is while you create, you are the owner, but the moment you leave the organizations, you lose, people lose access to that form. Yes, it is possible to share this form with someone to pair with you, but there's still restrictions, because if you can share with everyone, why sharing with everyone in your team when you can even create it directly from that team's group? Okay, for so many other reasons, you might want to keep it in case it has some attachments, some details that you want it to belong to the team and not just to your account. In this way, you have to create Microsoft Teams for Microsoft Forms for group. In the past, we used to have the group right here where you see share with me. From share with me, you can see forms that have been shared with you, but now it has been restructured. Microsoft is updating things every day, and right now you're going to find it under the groups. You just have to select the groups you want to create a form for, or you want to check a particular forms, and you'll be able to create or see all the forms attached to that group. Right here you can see all the groups that advanced belong to. There are no forms here. We only have one: approvers, app, admin team. There are 3 forms here, others are 0. So advanced is going to navigate to Meetup. This is a Teams group, Meetup, and right here the experience is similar. There are only 2 members here, Ola Charles and Advance, and it is a public group. So here you can create like regular your new group form, or a quiz. You can actually create that from here, or even poll that you create within your teams. It can always show here as well. Right, so I'm going to go straight away and create new group form. Awesome. So my new group form is loaded. The experience is the same with personal form, but one thing you will notice first is from here you can see forms, and you're going to see the teams that it is attached to, the group that form is connected to. If it's a personal form, you will not see this there, and this button, if you click on it, it will take you to that particular teams group. All right, and also here when you click on responses, by default a teams form is connected to Excel Online, unlike the personal one that when you create it in that manner, you just have to download the data offline yourself, or except to connect it to Excel Online. I also have a video on that called the most productive way to create Microsoft Forms. Right, so what has happened there is we have a form and we also have an Excel created at the back end to manage this. I'm going to rename this and call it group form for Meetup. So this group of form for Meetup, and let me just add one question there and we'll take it off from there to learn. The first question here is maybe gender. I'm just going to ask for gender, and I will take what is going to suggest to me. So by default, there's a suggestion here: woman, man, non-binary, prefer not to say. I'm just going to click on add all. So I have all the options here. I'm going to make it required. Right, so this is required. Okay, so I have my form done. Gender, it is right here. Okay, so because this is a group form, it is accessible to every member of that group. They can edit and they can see the data therein. Right, there are ways you can also keep it so away from them. Maybe you want them to be able to see the response, or you want them to be able to see the data. But the fact is this: it is not only editable by you, it is by every member of that group. They can collaborate or duplicate. All right. So now that we have this, how about uploading files? When I add a feed where people can upload file, where does that get saved? How do we interact with it? So I'm going to click on add new and come down here, click on file upload. Of course, it's going to create a file, a folder, but let us look at it carefully. A new folder will be created in SharePoint. If it is a personal form, the file will be created in your OneDrive. But because it's for group, it's going to be created in SharePoint. And I've also explained this in some of my videos that OneDrive is personal to you and by default is private. But SharePoint is for the group, is for sharing by default, and that is why those files needs to be stored in SharePoint, because they by default is being shared by the team's member. So I'm going to click on OK, and the implication is we have that file directly on SharePoint. I'm going to show us how to locate it. So right, so let's call this question kindly upload the required document. All right, it's compulsory. Okay, good, we have it there. You can always set like the same. What's the maximum file size? Up to 1 gig and up to 10 files can be uploaded. I'm just okay with this one. Now I'm going to navigate. I'm going to just put this in a preview mode and fill. So like I said the other time, the experience is the same. So I'm a man, then I'm going to upload something from my desktop. I'm just going to go to my desktop and find something to upload. Okay, I'm just going to upload travel memo approval. I'm going to click on open. Alright, so it's loading that, and I'm going to click on submit. Alright, so it's submitted successfully. Okay, so when I click on back here, we can see the form. There's nothing really different, similar to the regular form. When I click on this button there, it's going to open it up in an Excel online so that I can see the details there. Awesome. You see, I have my form here, group form for Meetup. By default, you can see that it's being shared with others by default. And for the uploaded file, you can see it is stored on SharePoint. That is the source. So let's navigate to SharePoint to this particular teams, which is group now, which is Meetup. Let's see what is happening there. So I'm back to SharePoint, and I'm just going to search for Meetup because I can't find it there. When I type Meetup, now I'm going to see on the site, this is the site for Meetup. I'm going to open it up. Awesome. We're going to be looking for two different things. Number one, the Excel file where that data is stored, and number two, the folder where the uploaded documents are saved. If you look at this site, because this is the home page, an aggregation of different functions and menu within a team site. I also want you to know that this particular Meetup is connected to a Teams channel. Anytime you create a Teams group on Microsoft Teams, it's going to create an equivalent SharePoint site, because all the files and documents, they are managed by SharePoint. Even though you are chatting on Teams, the file you share, you collaborate on, they're actually managed by SharePoint. So right here, I can find it here. This is the group form for Meetup. Group form, that's the same Excel file that I'm currently editing right here, I have here with me. And more also, how about the file? So let's just go straight to document. You'll see them better there. When you go to document, you'll be able to see documents folder for every channel that you have on that Teams, every public channel. So this is the general channel, which is what I have on that Teams, and this is the Excel file 2 minutes ago. The document uploaded is saved inside apps folder. When I click on apps folder, I'm going to see Microsoft Forms. I'm going to see group forms group form for Meetup, because that's the name of the form. And when I click on it, I'll be able to see the question and the attachment inside it. So this is how you get to locate, and this is functioning well, especially if the form is not to be utilized by your team, but you want every member of your team to have access to the details because they have something to do with it. So why not create it from the teams rather than creating the form as a personal form and sharing with them? So right now, every member of this Teams group can come to this SharePoint site and access this. Beyond that, they can also interact with this form right on Microsoft Teams, which I'm still going to show you. Alright, now that we've seen where this file is stored, both the data, the Excel file of the data, as well as the uploaded document, we can see that how they are tied to the same Teams group, but this time around accessible on SharePoint site as well as on Microsoft Teams channel. Alright, the next thing here is how do we run Power Automate? How do we connect Power Automate to this form? Because, and I'm going to show you, when you create a Teams group, a form for Teams rather, you will not see it in Power Automate whenever you want to connect to it. Let me show us what I mean by that. Right now, I'm in Microsoft Power Automate portal, and you can always access that from this Office portal and click on Power Automate. I'm going to click on Create, and I'll be creating automated flow. Anytime that form is filled, maybe I want to send a personalized message to them. So, automated cloud flow. When a new response is submitted, I'm going to call this my group form. Group form for meetup. No, that's the name. Then I'm going to click on create. So this is my first time of using this account, so it's trying to connect to my Microsoft Form account to log in, so it's done signing in, and you experience that if that's the first time of doing this as well. Not because we are connecting to a group form, but first time of using this action card or this trigger in Power Automate. Maybe you are just coming to Power Automate and you are connecting to when a new response is submitted for the very first time. So it's going to try to connect to your Office and sign in on your forms. Now I'll be able to select all the forms that I have right here, and I can see I only have 6 forms, and there are questions. I can't find my group form which I just created, but it's there. But I created it, yes, that's it. But where is it? I can't even find it in Power Automate. So how do you connect your group form? You click on enter custom value so that I can enter unique value for that form. The group form can be found by typing or copying an address under the form ID. If you look at this address bar, after form ID, you see this CF. This is where the real ID starts from. So just copy from this CF to the end and Ctrl C to copy. I'm back here. I'm going to paste it. Remember that I'm using the enter custom value. I'm going to paste it here. Alright, so it's done. It's connected. Let's get the items details. So I'm going to type here and say get response details. That's the action that will help us to get the details filled on the form. So get response details. Of course, you still definitely not see the form because it's not accessible on your personal forms. It's going to be under enter custom value. I'm going to paste that as well. And when it comes to response ID, I will pick this response ID from my dynamic content. Now I've been able to connect successfully to my group form and also get the details filled on that form. If I want to send mail or populate, you don't need to populate SharePoint list. In case you want to do that, you can actually do all this operation here. I just want to send a mail, and to do that, I'm going to send email, and right here send an email. Okay, so I've sent an email. Who am I sending this to? When I click on this add dynamic content, I'll be able to see the responder's email. Yes. What's the subject? I'm going to say group form submission. Then, of course, what's the body? Let me just put their gender. I'm just interested in showing that person this is what we filled. So, please find the details, or congratulations. Congratulations for filling which of the form now? The group forms. Alright. Find below the selected gender. So I'm going to say gender, and at the front, and right at the front here, I'm going to put in the gender that the person filled, which is gender. Right? Remember to always set the importance of your mail to normal or high. If you leave it empty, it's going to send with low importance. Nobody wants that actually. So I'm going to close this. I think this is fine. One thing I also want to note is the question that is housing the uploaded file is this: kindly upload the required document. That is it. Meanwhile, you cannot access that upload. So you might be asking, why not add the attachment? If you want to add the attachment, you will need a to do some order, to add some other actions to it, which I'm going to just put the video up here. You can see the video right now, how to actually retrieve that content. All right, so I have this and I'm going to test this form. So let me save first. And to test again, I'm just going to try to open my Outlook here. I'm going to open Outlook in a new tab. Let's try to fill the form by using preview. So I'm going to do preview, and of course my gender is man. You can select on gender. I'm going to upload. I'm back here. This time around I want to upload data never sleep. So done uploading at the moment. It's done uploading, then I'm going to click on submit. So submitted successfully. The flow will run and I'm going to get a mail. I mean, right here, I'm back to my inbox and I just have to refresh. And when I click here, there's a group form submission. Right, when I click on group form submission, right here I can see, hi, congratulations for filling the forms. Find below the selected gender. Gender is man. Awesome. So it works. We're able to connect to it via Power Automate. And of course, the attached file, you can always find that here when you come to these apps and Microsoft Forms and click on Group Forms, you click on this question, you will see it is here now. 2 minutes ago as well. Data never sleeps. We have it there. Right. How do you even work with this form within Microsoft Teams? It is also possible to embed these forms in Microsoft Teams. Right here, within Teams. I'm back to Teams, and this is the same meetup. I'm a member of that team. Remember, we have 2 people there, Advance and I. Right, so I'm going to click on this tab. You can either search for forms, or you rather see forms as one of your recent apps. So I'm going to click on forms. The next question is, do I want to create a new form? Nope. I actually want to add an existing form. When I click here, I'm going to see group form for meetup. Do I want to show them people to fill? So there are options here. You have 3 things here. First, do you want the form to take the collect responses mode, meaning when you have it there they can only fill it? Or do you want the form to just show them the results? Or do you want the form to show them opportunity to collaborate? I'm going to show us the 3. Here is collect responses. I'm going to remove it from notifying and click on save. So right now it has added it as a tab here, and I can see I have the form. They can only fill the form here, just fill. Also, I can add another one. And I click on that tab again and click on forms, and then come to add existing form. Like usual, click on group form for meetup. This time around, it's not collecting responses. Let's show results. And remove this as well. I don't want them to be notified. Click on save. Another tab has been created as well. This is only showing results. In case you want your team member to be aware of the form that was created by your team and people are filling across the organization. So this way they can only focus, how many responses do we have thus far? Here it is. They can see the responses. So if I come back here and see the fill for the meetup, I think this is the one to fill. And I feel that I have woman as my gender. I have to upload the file because I made it compulsory. And right here I go to my desktop and looking for something to upload. Select one of them and click on upload. The file is done uploading. I'm going to click on submit. The moment it's done submitting, the next thing is say maybe you want to submit under response. But when I come back here to this result, which is for result, you can see one is having initial, or the first word is fill, the other is result. So when I click on the result, of course, it's now 3 responses. I can see only result here, only result there. So, and I'll lower this. Let's add the 3rd one, then go to forms. Yeah, I'm going to add the existing form like before. This time around, while I'm selecting my group form for meetup, I'm going to put it on collaborate. Let's see how it appears. Also, I won't notify them, so just click on save. So when they click on it, they will be able to actually edit the form. And right here, I can change this and make it not required. And it's going to save these changes real time as well. They are real time. So I don't need to click on save. You can see right here, it's saved. Right. So let's go back and fill. You can see fill, you can see results. I'm going to fill. I'm just interested. I mean, prefer not to say. Just click on submit. It's done. Come back here to result. There are 4 results now. We have 4 responses, and we have, all across this pie chart. You can see them here. You can also remove, in case you want to remove the edit. If you have the edit now, if you right click, if you have to click on the edit group, and once you click on it, which is this is fill. So I want to click on the edit. Click on edit to load the tab for edit, and to remove tab is simple by just clicking on the drop down beside the edit form, and you see rename or remove. I want to remove it. I'm going to click on remove. So we have it removed like tab. All we have here is the fill, form, and also responses. Take for example, because this form is not meant for my team member to fill, just for them to see the responses, while everyone across the organization can fill from there. So I can also remove the fill while I leave only the results. Group forms is also being managed within Microsoft Teams, and because we're also within that group. Right. The other thing that I want to show us to wrap it up is you can also create a group form directly from your SharePoint. Alright, so I'm back here to SharePoint. While inside document, make sure you navigate to document. Any type of document you create here, they are for your group. So I'm going to click on this new button, and you will see you do want to create a folder, a Word document, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, or Forms for Excel. So the advantage of Forms for Excel is, one, it's going to create the Excel file. You'll be able to name the Excel will be saved here, and create a form as well for you, and it will link them together just the way you did when creating form directly from group in Microsoft Forms. And every document, including attachment, will also be managed within this SharePoint environment. So I'm going to click on Forms for Excel. The first thing here is it's going to ask me to name my Excel. So I'm going to call this Meetup Form 2. Click on Create. So it's going to create Excel for me, and right now it's loading Microsoft Form, trying to create the form. Let me navigate back to my SharePoint site. You're going to see the Excel is already created, Meetup Form 2, and right here I have the form as well. I'm just going to ask one single question, which is Net Promoter Score. I'm going to say, how likely are you to recommend a channel to your friends or colleague? Simple. I'm done with the form. And when I fill the form, first, I'm going to click on 10, I'm going to click on Submit. This is a Net Promoter Score, right? So you can go to the back end here, you see the value is there. And I can open the Excel here, but let's open it here so that we see Group Form 2 is going to open up the Excel online, and you'll be able to see the data right here in this Excel file. So it's on sheet 1, my data, okay, it has navigated to sheet 2. You can see right here the data has been captured, including the value that I fill. If I fill the form right now, you see it real time. Let me preview again. Okay, another person 9. I say submit. So I've selected 9 now. Let me come back here. It's going to drop right here. Can you see that? 9. Of course, you can also add this particular value to your SharePoint, to Microsoft Teams. Let me add it as well because I'm interested in the result, because it's a Net Promoter Score, which is a metric that is very interesting. So let's just add the tab by clicking on this tab button here. Of course, like we did the other time, click on Forms. I'm going to add an existing form, and I can see Meetup Form 2 is now available because I created within that. So I'm going to click on Meetup 2. Okay, this time around, let me post it so that I can see it. Click on Save. Oops, remember I made a mistake because I have collect responses active, so I have to remove it because they have to be filling it. I'm not interested in filling. I want to show them the results. So let's go ahead and add the form again. I'm gonna click on Forms, and I'm going to add an existing form like we did before. Right now, as you can see, we have 2 forms now. We have more than that, but these are the 2 forms we created in this tutorial. I'm interested in the Meetup Form 2. Here you can search for any forms that you have, both be it personal or Teams, and be able to add them to this particular SharePoint Microsoft Teams channel. So I'm not interested in showing them how to collect result or the responses. We want to show them the result. So show result, and of course I want to notify them. I'm going to click on save. Right now, all that they'll be able to see on this form is the result. If I go ahead and fill this again just one more time, submit another response, of course 10, and click on submit. I've come back to my Teams here. I have the refresh button to reload to capture that particular changes. We have 2 responses now. When I click here, it's going to reload. And voila, I have 3 responses. Awesome. So thank you. I have been able to show you in this video tutorial more details about group forms in Microsoft Forms, how it is preferred, especially when you don't want everything to rest on your account alone. You want to carry the group along, so it's good to use that. And how to manage the file uploaded. It's not going to be stored in your OneDrive. I mean, if it is personal one, it's stored in your OneDrive, but if it is for the group, you find it in your SharePoint site, which every member of that team can access and make use of and write on it without you sharing from your OneDrive, because by default it is in sharing mode over there. And of course, how do you connect to it in Power Automate? I showed you that as well, how you can copy the address and put it by entering a custom value within Power Automate, and that's how you can detect and pick up that particular forms.